welcome back to the final video of the X-Wing build. Now, this here is a piece, I think it's A6 of 10mm black acrylic. I think that's like A6, so that's like half of A5, if you think about pieces of paper. I've ordered this online, and it comes just cut from the factory. The edges are a bit rough, so we're just going over that with some metal polish and wet and dry paper. So excuse my voice, it's a bit late at night, I'm quite tired, I just finished work, so I just thought I'll just decompress a bit from my shift and do a wee bit of this. So just very briefly I'll talk you through the different levels of wet and dry paper. 100 grit, pretty rough. We've done the 400, we're currently on the 6, and I've got 8 here, and we've got another 4 grades here, the 1000 to 1200 to 1500, and then finally 2000 grit. That is really nice and smooth in comparison to the 100. And a combination of using the wet and dry paper and the metal polish gives you a nice, it's not a gloss finish to the edge, but it'll give you, so I don't know if you can see that now, it'll give you a nice sort of matte, sort of satin edge, takes away all the cut marks and gives you a nice finish to the model base. We've got a 3mm hole drilled here for the little rod that the ship's going to sit on. That's already done, and the plan will be we'll stick on a couple of wee rubber stoppers in the corners just so that the model's just, the base is just up off the surface that it sits on. Gives it a nice finish. So I'll crack on with this buffing of the corners, and hopefully the next time you see this it will be closer resembling a model base. See you in a bit. And as if by magic, we're back. I have been able to finish off the sides of the plinth. It's a bit dusty, because it's sort of that black gloss sort of finish. It shows up pretty well. You can see, I mean, they're absolutely not perfectly polished. I don't know how well that translates on camera, but they're much better than they were before. They're nice and smooth. There's no saw marks. There's no really scratches, or, you know, it's not gloss, but it's not matte finish. It's somewhere sort of satiny in between. Nice and smooth. Just gives it a nice finished edge. Doesn't detract away from the model. Nice plain base, but looks a bit classy. Looks nice. A fitting base for showing off a nice model. So when I drilled the hole, we've got a nice clean cut through here. It's just a wee mark that will come off. But on this other side here, there's been a wee bit of breakage. So this is clearly going to be the underside. So we'll start with this end first. We're going to apply 4 or 5 of these wee silicon type dots. They're used as a noise buffer on kitchen cupboards and stuff. It says 3M electronics, so I don't know if there maybe some kind of electronic use as well. You could probably use them as a lens for LEDs and different things. You get them on Amazon for about £1. I mean, that was a whole strip for about £1 or something. That was, I've probably still been ripped off. I mean, you could probably buy them for, you know, like 5 million of them for 20 pence if you know where to look, but, you know, never mind. They do the job. We don't use loads of these. I just use them as a little feet for the base, so that whatever surface it's not, so if you've got it sitting on a nice table, it's not going to be rubbing against it or marking it, or just, it gives it a nice finish. We've got the little acrylic rod cut just to a nice size that I'm looking for the model to sit on, and of course the gorgeous little brushed aluminium. I mean, it's, I don't know if you can hear that or not, but it's real metal. I had these made up by a chap I found on Etsy, and his name or his storefront is called Nerd's Loot. He does these for all sorts of things, not just for models. Basically, you ask for it, he'll make it up. Star Wars, Marvel, Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings, anything you're into at all. So if you've got like a prop or something you want to display, for any of these sort of franchise type movies, he's your man to go and see. I've seen a few others on Etsy. They seem a bit more expensive, but in terms of quality and cost, this man's definitely up here. And actually, he's not that. He lives not that far away. Excuse me, that far away from me. He's in Scotland as well. Probably about 40 minutes in the car. Could probably save myself a bit of postage if I go over to his house, but I'm sure he probably doesn't want me hanging about outside like a weirdo. Anyway, enough rambling. So that gets tacked down onto the base with some of this double-sided sticky tape. You can buy the cushion stuff. This is just the ordinary thickness double-sided tape. So we'll go through that just shortly. I've got a bit of the old Yoo-hoo glue, and the off chance that I might want to set this in place. When I cut the hole, when I drilled out the hole, I went over to my dad's. He's got one of these pillar drill things in his wee workshop, and it's perfect for drilling a nice straight hole down through the acrylic. I've done it previously with a hand drill, and I wasn't really that happy with the results. It's hard to get that straight down bore with a hand drill, especially when you're trying not to mark the acrylic. So on this occasion I'd done that, but he'd lost the chuck for the drill. It looked as though it was a 3mm drill bit that was in it, but I'm not convinced. I think it might have been a 4, because this is a 3mm acrylic rod, and that goes in, but there's a bit of play in it. It's a bit loose, so I think I might have to just put a wee bit of glue in there just to hold it in place. But we're not want to be using super glue, because I've got some of this stuff here. This is pretty good. I like this stuff. It's the viscous stuff, so it's not thin. It's a bit more like a gel. But the problem with super glue is when it dries, it gives off a gas, and that tends to stick and adhere and stain plastics and acrylics and stuff like that. It goes like foggy. It just looks terrible. And so we want a nice clear rod, a nice gloss black base. That's going to really ruin that if I put any super glue near that. I don't have any acrylic welding glue. I've got the stuff I use for styrene. I've not actually experimented with this. I don't have any other spare bits of acrylic that I can experiment with bonding it together, so I don't really want to start mucking about with that. But I know Yoo-hoo glue tends to work with stuff like this. So we had some in the drawer. We'll use that. Anyway, we'll crack on with the rest of this. Right, so we've stuck one of these wee dots over the hole to stop the rod sliding down through it. And then we'll just pop these wee feet onto the corners. I could probably have neatened that up a wee bit actually. They're adhesive backed, so they stick on their own. And being a 3M product, they tend to be pretty decent quality adhesives that's on the back of them. I just get a wee press and we're in business. Every time I do a build for a ship that I cover on videos, we're not going to go through this whole process. I thought I would just tie this onto the back of the X-Wing build. By the time you get to the end of this video, you should be seeing the final product, the finished article. I'll get some photographs. So this is, what night is this? Monday night. This is Monday night when I'm filming this, and tomorrow's Tuesday. I'm not working tomorrow, so I'll take advantage of the time when the bairns are at school, and I shall photograph in the nice bright daylight, some nice natural light. I'll get some photographs of the ship, and the end of this video will really just be a montage of just some nice photographs of the finished piece, couple with the wings open, couple with the wings closed. Different angles, get to see everything that's been done. Although that means I will need to find the sprues that were left over and try and find the VR2 unit, because Dafty here didn't put that in. Now, there was actually a method in my madness for doing that, and that was I didn't want to spray over the top of it basically, and I didn't want to keep masking it every 5 minutes. So my plan was we'll just add in R2 at the end. I don't know if this was in the last video, but we've got the canopy secured in place, and we've got the pilot. Now, there we go. I think, given the fact that it's Red 5, we could call him Luke, but you know, it's an X-Wing, there's a pilot in it, he's an X-Wing pilot, that'll do it. Right, so I digress again. That's our little sticky dots on. We now have a base. And we'll move on just in a second to putting on the plaque. Stand by. So just to protect the plaque from getting scratched, I've managed to keep it, since it's been delivered, nice and fresh and clean without a mark on it. So let's not mess that up now. I'll just use a bit of tissue paper just to lay that out on. Now, if memory serves, that's just the right thickness. I think it's actually just over. So what we'll do is, we'll cut off a bit of this. Sorry, I'm just doing that off camera. Actually quite tough, that stuff. Right, so sticky tape, double-sided. Pop that on there. And lay it down. Now, I've got a wee lip here, so that's easy resolved. Now, because that's the underside, we can move that paper away. And we'll just get into this with the scalpel. Now, we need to be gentle that we don't actually score the plate. And make sure that the scalpel isn't going to jump. There we go. You can just imagine me doing this there with the tongue hanging out the side of my mouth. Like, absolute concentration. Anyway. So, I don't think we necessarily need to have adhesive in all parts of it. It's just enough to stick it down. And then we just peel off this part here. Ta-da! So the paper's away. We've got our wee feet down now as well, so we don't need the tissue paper to stop the base getting scratched. Although it's the underside, we still want to look after it, make it look nice. Now, what I've done before was just blow off any last pieces of dust, figure out roughly where we want this to sit, and then just gently lower it in place. Make sure that it's nice and straight. And now that's not pressed down just yet. I can see that that's not quite straight. Oh, bugger. Oh, that was close. Right. Take two. That was just too far over the one side there for my liking. Right, here we go again. Take two. Right. I've not precisely measured this. I'm really just gauging it with my eye. That looks a lot better. Will we go with that, folks? I think we will. I am just bit of finger pressure, smooth it out, boom, hey presto. That's okay. Can we just that ever so slightly? No, not happy with that. No, I'll just have to be because it's down there. I think if I pull that off, it's just, it's slightly lower at this side than that side. Are people going to notice it, particularly when it's on the deck? Absolutely not. Do I notice it just now? Aye, and it's going to annoy me, but I think I could live with it. The thing is, if I try and pull that up, that's just going to bend the aluminium, so I'll just need to live with it. Right, done, dusted. That's that bit done. We'll crack on with the next part in a second. Right, what I've decided to do is take the wee dot off the bottom side of this. I was going to put the glue in the top end, but I really don't want to risk getting any glue on the surface, on the display surface. So we'll do it for the back end. I'll just put in a wee spot, just a tiny wee lick in the bottom there. It's quite stringy, this stuff. Right, let's get that back on there before I flip that around, before the glue pops down through the other end. There we go, and here is the rod. Right, now we'll leave that to set. Ta-da! Done it! Managed it. Had to relent and use a wee bit of the foggy stuff, super glue. Really, it's just actually a wee bit to the tip of the little acrylic rod that actually is not very visible in the video, but which is probably a good thing actually, because it gives you the illusion that the ship's actually flying. Anyway, so yeah, wee touch of that right in the tip, just enough to secure it, and a wee bit just in the underside at the base as well. Again, the Yoo-hoo stuff wasn't really quite having the hold I would hope it, or I hoped it would have had. So just a wee tiny spot of super glue in there, just enough to hold it. I mean, at the end of the day, these are no toys. They're no for playing with. They're delicate bits of plastic basically that some dafty has sat in his garage and painted up to look like something for a 1970s movie. But there's a lot of nostalgia and pop culture associated with that particular shade of paint sprayed on that particular fashion on a piece of plastic that particular shape. Certainly for me, there's a lot of nostalgia, and lots of people, you know, all over the world, you know, Star Wars has been a part of many people's lives growing up. For their child, it's a link directly back to their childhood. It's an escape from the reality of the world that we live in. So people just enjoy it. Other people don't, right enough. I work with people who laugh at me. So, oh my God, you're like a wee boy sitting watching men flying about in spaceships and fighting with laser swords and stuff. Listen, fair enough. It's not for everybody, but listen, I enjoy it. This is my escape, my pastime, and hopefully, cross the fingers, hopefully somebody somewhere will get to enjoy this one day. I've got no space to keep loads of models, but I got enough of a kick out of building them and painting them. Take a couple of pictures, stick a video or two up on Instagram or, you know, YouTube, whatever. I'm quite content with that. I really enjoy that, so that's my thing. So anyway, without further ado, if you've made it this far in the video series, thanks very much for watching. Thanks for sticking with it. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you've maybe learned something if this is your thing. Listen, also, if you guys out there are saying, what's he doing that for? That's a silly way of doing it, or whatever. You know, drop a comment and tell me what you think. Give me some tips. If you want to ask any questions, drop some comments in. I would really appreciate it if you would like and subscribe to the channel. I'm not looking to make money out of this. It's just I just enjoy sharing it, and I want to share it with as many people as I can. So, you know, as I say, hit the like button, you know, subscribe, and see what's coming up next. Enjoy the photographs of the finished article. Cheers, people. Peace out.